everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of I'd Quit But I'm Broke, the careers podcast brought to you by Student Beans.
We're your hosts, Matt Kerridge.
And Grace McIntosh.
How have you been this week, Grace?
Not bad. I've had an alright week. It's been busy with uni. It's getting kind of full on. What about yourself?
Yeah, same here really. I'm just working on deadline after deadline.
Have you got lots in a row?
Yeah, I've got 4 by the end of the month.
Oh.
So I think as these episodes come out, you're going to hear me get a bit more tired every week.
Yeah, we'll set up a desk in the corner for you to keep going with work.
Yeah, before and after, I'll just be working.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed episode 1. This week, we are speaking to Ally Sevier, entrepreneur, business owner, and lifestyle blogger.
So, have you ever thought about starting your own business, Matt?
I have, but I'm not sure what I'd do or how good I'd be at it. I'd like to be my own boss, but then at the same time, having kind of the structure and everything that a job brings you, I think is a bit more my style. How about you?
Oh, I'd love my own business.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I would love, a boutique hotel.
Okay.
Because I really like interior design. So I feel but I don't know if I'd be any good at actually running a hotel, the logistics of that, but designing it, I would love that bit.
Well, I guess you'll just have to dive in the deep end and see.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe one day that might be my calling. But I'm keen to speak to Ally to find out what it's like running your own business and how you get started and things like that. That should be really interesting.
Well, let's welcome our guest for the day, Ally Sevier.
Hi, Ally. It's lovely to have you here today. So for any of our listeners who maybe don't know who you are or don't know about your business, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much for having me on the show today. Really great to be here. So my name is Ally. I run my own activewear brand. So it's called Avo. It's aimed at women who are petite. That's really women who are 5'3" and under. And it aims really to solve the problems that a lot of petite women come across in the fitness industry with regard to the clothing that they wear. So that's things like leggings that fit properly, that aren't baggy at the knees, aren't too long at the ankles. I've often in the past had to roll up the ankles of my leggings just to make sure that they fit properly. So yeah, that's basically what we do, really. Very much aimed at the petite industry. But taller women do sometimes like to wear our leggings. So they do fit taller women, but they're really, really for the shorties.
Yeah, they're cropped.
Yeah,
taller.
Yeah. That's 7/8 sort of that fashion.
Well, that's really great. But for now, we have some icebreaker questions. I'll start. What was the worst style choice you've ever made?
Oh, I think that would have to be my year 6 disco choice when I was probably about 11 years old. At the time, I thought I looked absolutely fantastic. My mum had bought me this 2-piece, long-sleeved, gold-coloured outfit, which had fluffy cuffs at the wrists and fluffy ankles as well, which, yeah, I thought I looked amazing, but my friends make fun of me to this day, so probably wasn't the best choice. But good fun to look back on.
Yeah, that's the thing. You think
Yeah.
you look amazing at the time, and then you look back and just cringe.
Yeah.
Second question. Who was your childhood actor/actress crush?
Oh, that would have been, I was absolutely obsessed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I had a poster in my room. I just thought she was really cool. There weren't really, back when I was younger, there weren't really masses of female sort of heroes, really, in TV and film as such. So I think she probably really stood out to me, and I thought she was really cool.
I think quite a lot of girls say they have a poster of whoever they've got a crush on. I think that must be more of a girl thing than a guy thing. If you were a wrestler, what would be your entrance theme song?
Probably very basic, Eye of the Tiger. I just think that's a great song.
Classic.
So, yeah.
Get the crowd going.
Yeah.
You have to sing karaoke. What song do you pick?
Oh, good question.
Is it Eye of the Tiger again?
That would be a good choice. All that's coming into my head right now is when I was about 10 years old and my dad was so keen for me to sing karaoke on our holiday in France, and I think I got up and sung the Sugar Babes, which, one of their songs, so I can't quite get that out of my head right now. So maybe that one all over again.
They had some good songs.
Relive that embarrassing experience.
So tell us about the worst job you've ever had.
Okay, so that would have to be a Saturday job I took up when I was busy saving money for travelling. I'd left uni, I was about 21. I did have a full-time job already, which was a receptionist in a physiotherapy practice, which was always really busy. Loved my job there, but wanted to earn a bit of extra money, you know, have the best travelling experience that I possibly could. So took up a Saturday job in a car dealership as a receptionist there, thinking, oh great, this could probably be similar to my current job. You know, chatting to people all day, good fun. But it definitely was the opposite of that, unfortunately. I was on my own desk, right next to the entrance of the car dealership where people would walk in. But the Saturdays are extremely quiet, and people would often just walk straight past me, going straight to the service desk or straight to look at whatever car they wanted to look at. I was really not really very useful. So after, you know, doing a bit of paperwork that they would give me for filing, making a few cups of coffee and tea, there wasn't really much for me to do. So very, very boring. And I only lasted 6 weeks until I thought, this isn't for me. It's not worth the money, unfortunately. So that swiftly ended.
That's not good. See, some people actually like doing nothing at work, and that would be their dream job.
Yeah,
to be
definitely.
paid to do nothing. But I'm like you. I'd be bored, brainless.
Yeah.
Did you not fancy just chucking on Netflix and just riding it
This
out
is
until
the
you went
thing.
travelling?
No, I did have a computer and I wasn't allowed to do anything but the work that they would give me, which was so minimal that I was pretty much done in about an hour of the 8-hour shift. Wasn't even allowed to play solitaire. Good old computer games. Yeah, very boring.
Oh no. If you could say anything to your old boss, what would you say to them?
I sort of thought I would never want to say this, but maybe have given me more work. It seems so not really something that you would want to say to your boss, but I could have done with more work, actually.
So you've said how it's bored you had nothing to do. How much would we have to pay you to go back?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Part of me wouldn't want to take any money.
Really? That bad?
It just was that boring. I think I've learned over the years, I think maybe as I've got older, I've realised that I actually do need something to stimulate me. And just sitting at a desk doing absolutely nothing all day is really not for me. I don't know how much money.
Out of interest, do you remember how much you were earning at the time?
I was trying to think of this earlier. I was probably on minimum wage, whatever that was at the time, sort of 7 years ago. So what would that be? I don't know.
Probably like £9, something like that?
No,
less than that.
Probably
£7? £6-7?
Something like that. Yeah, maybe nearer to that.
Right.
So, it wasn't worth travelling to, it was a Saturday. I would miss out on things that my friends were doing.
Yeah.
I was giving up to me at that age, it was a lot to give up, and the money just wasn't worth it, really. So,
would we tempt you if we said kind of £20 an hour?
maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe more like £30 an hour.
Oh wow!
£20 an hour, and you can do stuff on the computer that's not just work.
Okay, fair enough. If I could watch Netflix all day, and then for the odd person that would come through the door have to engage with them, then perfect. Yeah.
There we go.
Right, deal done.
And a car thrown in.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So if you're going to rate the job out of 5, 1 being I'd never ever go back, you couldn't make me go back, and 5 being it was okay really, what would you be? What would you rate?
Maybe a 2.5.
Right down the middle.
Right down the middle, because on the one hand, I actually didn't really have to do anything. And like you say, for some people, that's their absolute dream. But then it was just not worth it. It really wasn't worth my time and missing out on things, like I said, about friends and just a whole Saturday. I was then working 6 days a week, which was quite a lot. So, 2.5, I think.
So was it a really easy decision for you just to leave after 6 weeks?
It was, yeah. I realised it wasn't for me, and I thought better just nip it in the bud whilst I can, and maybe just let someone else take over, and actually who may want to work there.
They'd love it.
Yeah.
And 8 hours is a long time to feel bored.
It would drag. And the journey was a lot longer than I was used to with my current job at the time, so it was about half an hour to get there, half an hour home, just too long.
Yeah, not worth it.
Not worth it.
Okay, so moving on to listener questions now. We asked our listeners to ask you some questions, and we got some really cool ones sent in.
So what's been the most challenging part of starting your business?
Oh, gosh, there have been quite a few challenging times. I run the business on my own, so that in itself is a challenge, trying to juggle the multiple heads I have to wear running a business. I think probably the challenge was actually just starting because the process of finding a manufacturer, once I'd sort of got the business idea and I knew what route I wanted to go down and what the product was, finding a manufacturer was really hard, and it did take me a few attempts to find the right person and someone who I could sort of feel that I could work well with in the long term. So that probably was the most challenging, but still challenges to this day, sort of 3.5 years on down the line into the business.
So kind of building those relationships is like the initial hurdle you have to get over, right?
Yeah, I would say jumping those initial hurdles were huge for me. I think I was maybe around 24, 25, setting up the initial stages. Absolutely clueless, sort of no experience in the industry at all. So that was a huge challenge because I didn't have an experience to go off of. It was very much Googling everything. How on earth do you find a manufacturer overseas?
Yeah.
There's no kind of one website that just tells you, right, this person you could use and they'll be a great manufacturer. Actually, you contact someone and then they may mess you around, or they may take a long time, or the product when it finally comes just is terrible. So it was a real process, but once I'd found the right person, that it's been pretty much a breeze with them nearly since starting.
That's good. So the challenges were right at the start. There's some every day, but the big challenge was just getting started.
I would say the biggest
first
challenge
place.
getting started, yeah, and getting customers as well, really, because once I'd got the stock and I'd set up a website, it's getting the word out there. I can be a little bit sort of shy sometimes, and I find it difficult to kind of toot my own horn in that respect. So getting the word out was challenging in finding ways to spread the word, telling friends and family, and the word kind of slowly grew in that way, and on social media as well. But yeah, just a challenge to kind of make yourself known up against these huge companies who are very dominant in the fitness industry. It's really hard, and it takes a lot of time. Even 3 years down the line, it's still a challenge having to try and market to different groups of women and different people, and to get the product out there, really. When I started the business, I was still working full-time, so I was working 5 days a week, and I would, the initial stages, I would do all the research and find out how to start a business or outside my working hours and on my weekends. And then as the kind of momentum grew and I managed to find a manufacturer, and then things sort of started to get a bit real. I decided to take some money out my savings and spend £3,000 on a bunch of stock that I just had no idea whether or not it would sell, and then sort of making a website and doing that. So it's very much kind of grown since then, but yeah, my time outside of my other job is still very sort of taken up with my own business, but I love it, so it's worth it.
That moves quite nicely on to our next listener question, actually. So that is, what do you enjoy most about working for yourself?
Yeah, so there's multiple things that I absolutely love about working for myself. The flexibility of working, I can work from home. I also love connecting with the customers. That part for me has just been something I actually didn't foresee when I started the business, was how many women out there are actually in need of properly fitting activewear when they're sort of my height or sort of 5'3" and under. And that's just been amazing. Having women who are sort of in their 50s and 60s message me on Instagram and say, "Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I found you. I've just bought a pair of your leggings, and where have these been all my life?" Yeah. And to me, it's so lovely, because it just shows the impact that something such a small business that I feel it's so small sometimes. Actually, it can have such a big impact on people, and that could affect the way that they enjoy the gym. It could give them the confidence to get into fitness or other activities that people do. People wear leggings everywhere. In lockdown, people were wearing leggings at home all the time to work in. So whether that gets you to work better, I don't know. That's been a huge part of it for me as well.
And the final listener question is, what was the first step you took to build your business? After you had the idea, what was the next step? Yeah,
the next step was really building a website. That was something I just had no idea how to do that. There seems to be a common theme with building this business. Google was a massive resource, and I would just spend my time Googling how to do things. Managed to find how to make a website with Shopify, which is like an e-commerce platform, and they have ranges of templates that you can use and then design on your own. So kind of set up a website, had a photographer take some photos of me in a gym. First ever photo shoot I'd ever done. That was quite daunting,
wow.
I have to say. So that was the kind of first initial photos we had on the website, was what the photographer took of me, and went from there really. So just kept learning different skills, sort of on my own really.
Yeah, even modelling.
Yeah, I know. Who knew?
So it kind of seems to me like the fitness industry is known for not being the most inclusive or diverse kind of industry in the world. And it sounds like you almost started because of this, because they weren't accommodating for people with your body type.
Yeah, massively. It's very niche.
And it kind of shows through like your social media and all the models you get in. And like maybe you could talk a bit more about how you think like the diversity and inclusion really helps your brand and why it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the diversity of it is huge, and I think is massively underrepresented in the fitness industry, really in the fashion industry as well. Yeah. So that for me was something that I think I initially didn't really realise the power of. Starting a brand that was for shorter women was to me just a problem that I felt as though I could solve, and then it kind of went from there. But then realising that I think something like 50% of women in the UK are around 5'4", 5'3" and under. There's a massive percentage of women who are shorter. So this kind of gap in the fitness activewear market was huge and really needed to be filled as well. Representation as well is huge. I have used in the last year, I've worked with some amazing, really lovely models that I've connected with on Instagram. When the brand initially started, I was using myself as a model, and I had a couple of friends who would model with me. Keep costs low, friends doing friends favours type of thing. But they happened to be sort of slim, white women. And, that was absolutely fine. But I definitely felt as though the representation was lacking in that area as well. So I've kind of made more of a conscious push the last sort of year or two to broaden that really. And we did a model search through our Instagram page, just put a message out there saying, hey, if you're interested in modelling for us in the future, just drop us your name and your details, and we'll add you to, I've got sort of like Excel spreadsheet with lots of women who have expressed an interest, and that's been really helpful to kind of also expand that diversity really.
Yeah, so that's a really organic way of finding models, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, it's customers helping me out because they know the product, so I know that they already can, they wear them and they already like them, so I had loads of responses which I really didn't expect. But women who have never been in front of a camera before would message me saying, I've never done anything like this, but I would really love to, and I love the brand, so it was meaningful to them as well, which was really nice.
So do you think that lack of diversity and inclusion is something you see quite a lot with the bigger firms in the industry?
Yeah, I would say so. I think some of them are trying to make a conscious move towards more inclusion in representation, but for a really long time, it's been something that has massively lacked in the fitness industry. And I would have hoped that the kind of bigger scale brands would have been at the forefront of that push to broaden the diversity of the women that they use in their campaigns and their brand images. Not quite sure if it's there yet. It's definitely happening, and we're seeing more of it. But I think that brands could definitely do more to move things forward in that respect.
I mean, to me, it's almost as if you can do it by yourself, an Instagram page, why can't a huge company do the same?
This is the thing, yeah. I mean, I don't know how larger companies work and who's behind those decisions, but I know as a business owner, it's not that hard to make a conscious decision about that. So, yeah.
I think one of my biggest misconceptions of the fitness industry is that kind of, beauty standards. To be fit, to wear activewear, you have to look a certain way. So I know you are a big encourager of body positivity and all, celebrating all body shapes. So why has that been important in your activewear?
Yeah, I think it's the sort of connecting with women. My brand is very much, because I'm trying to reach women who are already short, I think that connection is so important that actually you don't want to alienate people even more. Short women are already alienated in the fitness industry. So it's very much kind of connecting these people with the brand and making them feel as though, they can wear these clothes. They don't have to have abs, or they don't have to be a size like 4 or anything like that. So I know that for me, massively, it's just been that extra push to slowly be more inclusive. It's been a slow progress because of certain issues. You haven't been able to do photo shoots very much for the last couple of years, and as a small business it's not always possible to do photo shoots every month, which we would love to, but it's not feasible. But in the future, definitely like to be even more inclusive of the women that we use in shoots.
So we've spoke a lot already about how you kind of got started making your own leggings for yourself, right?
Yeah, so I've always kind of been into the gym, especially during uni. I was very into the gym, got really into fitness, and I've always just been really frustrated being 5'1" myself. Leggings just never seemed to fit properly. I'd always either buy cropped leggings, which were always just a bit short, and then the long leggings, regular leggings, were just far too long on me, always having to roll them up, tops kind of gaping open and having to sew the shoulder straps up, and just ridiculous lengths that I would have to go to actually like what I was wearing to the gym. So one day I just thought, right, can I make a pair? Can I, see where this could go? Went down to the local fabric shop in Bristol and bought a legging pattern, like a paper pattern of leggings, and bought some lycra fabric. Tried to make my own pair with a sewing machine that I had at the time. And thought that this could really be a thing, that I could make these leggings. Anyway, the final product was not fantastic. Unfortunately, they turned out like giant disco pants, so not really something that I would wear. But it got me started to think, actually, could I have these manufactured by somebody? And that was kind of where it started, really, and moved on to finding manufacturers, getting samples, and actually it turned out to be a really great product and something I could see other people wearing as well.
And is it the relationship with your customers that kind of motivates you to continue?
Yeah, I think so. It's just I have a lot of customers who maybe sort of initially buy one product and then they just keep coming back and buying more. And to me, I'm every order I get, I'm baffled, because even sort of 3 years down the line, I still think it's just incredible that people are actually buying these leggings that I've designed and had made, and it's amazing, and it definitely motivates me hugely that people are so keen about the product, and their feedback is massive to me, is everything. Yeah.
It sounds like you solved the problem for yourself and then a load of other women as well, which is really rewarding.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've spoken a lot about, how running your own business is really rewarding, but there must be some tough times as well. Is there any time you've just been like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore?
Yeah, I think there is occasionally. Less so now because the business is so established, I think. Early days when I may get no orders, or I don't know, I would just feel so kind of, where is this going? Is this actually going to be a thing? Are people going to like the product? It's so daunting posting orders out to people usually people love it. Sometimes people don't, and sometimes people will leave you that 1-star review and be a little bit cruel, which, you know, fair dues, they have their opinion. But when it's your own business, it's not just like leaving a review on Amazon.
No.
I take it personally, and sometimes I think, oh gosh, you know, am I doing the right thing? But then that's, say, like, I think maybe 2 or 3 reviews out of the hundreds on my website have been less than sort of 4 or 5 stars. And actually, not everyone's always going to like what you do. So I think the mental kind of driving behind that is just forget the people who it's not for them. You don't want them as customers because they're not going to enjoy your product, and just keep moving forward for the people who really, really value it and really enjoy shopping from you and enjoy the experience and that connection.
I think you definitely have to focus on, you know, the more positive side.
Yeah.
And, you know, if more people didn't like it than did like it, you wouldn't be in business.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I think that's kind of thing you must have to just remember on those bad days.
Yeah, it is. And when you never know who's looking at your adverts and your products and everything. But it is just keeping that in the back of your mind that, you know, the vast majority of the people who shop from us, they love the product, and that's a huge driving force.
Would that be your golden tip for dealing with setbacks in business, would you say?
I think so. You have to have a bit of a thick skin sometimes, but, you know, like I said, not everybody's always going to like what you're doing. And that's like most things in life, really. Just be confident in what you're doing. And even sometimes you have to fake it till you make it. That's been a common theme, especially starting up the business. Just keep going and keep sort of pushing through those barriers. You hopefully get there eventually.
Yeah, that's it. It's really good. Optimistic advice.
Yes, yeah.
So we've spoken a lot already about how you kind of got started. But is there anything in your history, maybe like university, that kind of prepared you, or maybe like planted the seeds about you starting your own journey?
Yeah. As a child, I would often sell things on eBay. So that's sort of pre-university, but I would often try and earn sort of pocket money by selling bits and pieces on there. University itself, I would say, definitely gave me a lot of independence. Leaving home was huge, making new friends, very much out my comfort zone. I had a fantastic group of girls at university who were very supportive, and that was great for the experience. I wouldn't say university massively prepares you for running a business. I don't quite know if anything can prepare you for running a business, to be honest. It is 24/7. I don't think there's anything in my life previous to this that has been similar at all, because it's every minute of every day you're sort of thinking of it and working on your business, and so, but definitely independence in uni. And
what degree did you actually do at university? Has that kind of impacted, you know, your job now in any way, would you say?
I wouldn't say so. I studied criminology at Swansea University, which is very different to what I do now.
Yes.
I was quite keen to be a policewoman, and then I figured out that actually I'm probably a bit short. I don't actually think that's a thing.
What would you say then to students that maybe have a degree in something specific? You know, do you think it's kind of important to keep your options open?
I think so. If you've got something that you're passionate about, or you find something that you're passionate about, don't be afraid to go for it. That's all I'd say, is that, you know, I didn't have a business degree, I didn't have any experience, and here I am 3.5 years later with a business that many women buy from and they love. So but then again, if you're doing a degree that you're passionate about, there's nothing wrong with going into, I think a lot of people nowadays feel as though they have to do something innovative and different, whereas there's really nothing wrong with doing the job that you've always wanted to do, and if that's the degree path that you're on, you know, great. Just do something that you enjoy, I would say. Just as long as you're happy, that's, you know, the most important thing really for me.
So you say that uni obviously didn't prepare you, you were in a completely different field, and obviously now you're kind of just learning on your own. Is there anything that like no one told you to expect?
I think to answer that question would be that it really does rule your life. And I think I probably wasn't really prepared for that, in that it is 24/7 and just full on really. But I think that you can never prepare yourself for where a career path may take you. You know, you never really know where something, if you're passionate about something, where it can take you. And it's exciting. The ride is exciting. So I think that, you know, it's scary, but those steps towards your goal are, you know, massive. You just go for it, really.
If you'd had this plan from the start and you could go back to an 18-year-old version of yourself, do you think you would have said, you know what, study business, leave criminology?
Oh, good question. I don't know, because I loved my degree so much.
Yeah.
So I think that my university experience was so positive, that I loved my degree, I loved the friends I had. It was really positive, and actually I have some friends that had a really terrible time at uni, and for me that was massive. I don't know if I would tell myself to do anything different, really. I'm not sure. I've learned so much over the past few years, and I don't think there's anything that could have changed that, really, or made it any better.
And all those skills you've like picked up now, how did you go about learning them? Like, how did you learn how to build a website or
These are my
how to
questions.
package things?
Yeah.
Or, you know, everything that a business does, but there's no way to get taught. How did you go about that?
Yeah, I would say some parts came from my job as a manager at a physio practice, that there were a few things that I introduced to their business. They didn't have a website when I first joined, so that was something that we worked with a website designer and we implemented that. And I learned how to do bookkeeping because our bookkeeper was leaving, so I kind of took on that and learned that skill. So I think that stage really taught me that actually, you know, I can be quite diverse and I can learn skills, and, you know, if I really try and put my mind to it, it is possible, or at least to give it a try. If I can't do it, Google was the one. There was no one to teach me those skills, but online is a huge resource, so there's always somebody out there with a course for something or guidance on a website, basically.
You've been really proactive then to learn these skills kind of on the job.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say probably going back to the question about university, one thing I did learn is how to research. So I suppose that's come in massively to researching how to do everything.
So we've spoke about how you've got here, the steps you took. What about the future? Are there any big plans?
The whole aim is just to grow the business, really, and to reach more and more women who are in need of the properly fitting activewear. I'm trying to broaden our activewear range. I'm about to introduce some shorts, which is very exciting. I've had a big ask from my customers for shorts, so that'll hopefully go down well. We'll see. It's always a bit daunting introducing new things, but excited for that. And yeah, it would be, I mean, one day it'd be amazing to be the go-to store for petite activewear, but we'll see.
And now 3 years in, what would you say has been your biggest achievement so far as a business?
I think the features in the magazines that we've been featured in have been massive to me. Those were very organic and a real surprise, actually, which again is very motivating for me. It was something that I completely didn't expect, came completely out of the blue, really, and to be named one of the best petite activewear brands available to women was just incredible. I still feel like such a small business up against these giants who some places do sort of provide some petite activewear which may be quite expensive or just not doesn't really cut it. So yeah.
So now for the most important part of the podcast. What is the one piece of advice you would give students hoping to start their own business?
I think starting your own business is absolutely incredible. I've absolutely loved it, but I think you also have to be prepared for a complete change in your life, really. It like I said before, it really is 24/7, and you just need to make sure that you are mentally prepared, financially prepared, really. If you were to lose some money, that you're really not going to get yourself into debt, because that's a big concern. But if you feel as though you can go for it, absolutely take the plunge. it's an incredible journey, and it really is a challenge. But if you've got something that you are passionate about and that you can really work hard on, and that you'll keep working toward that goal of starting a business and going forward with that, then yeah, go for it.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on, Ally.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been great, yeah. And don't forget, you can follow Ally's venture on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube at Avo Activewear.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, give us a like and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Next week, we will be joined by illustrator and feminist Hazel Mead, who will be discussing her journey from working as a barmaid to getting commissioned by Netflix and Facebook. We'll see you next week.